Hello, everyone. Uh, Welcome. Good afternoon. Well, it's just about afternoon. Started a minute early. Just let a few of you join the live stream. I hope you're all doing well. No, I haven't got a massive agenda on today. I just thought got a few moments spare, so I thought I'll just hop on and hopefully answer a few of your questions. So if you want to get some questions in, that'd be fantastic. I'll try and answer them best I can. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to like that. Press that thumbs up button, and we get loads of people watching then. Like I said, I haven't really got like a big agenda. Obviously, last week I wanted to tell you all that the floats are back in stock. They have gone down really well. The shops are fully stocked of them now. So if you want JC margin pace, you want JC pace, you want clunks, along with all the other floats, all these beauties that we've got here. If you want all them, they're all back in stock. So you can't go wrong at the minute. And it's nice to see. Loads of little floats like them, little beauties. So first, let me say, if you have got a question, get them in. I'm going to have a little chat first, and then hopefully we'll get some questions to sort of build up and get through. Try and answer them in as much detail as I can. Pretty laid back sort of chat, really, because like I said, there's no immediate agenda, but I've been doing some interesting fishing this week. Been to some interesting places, so I'll update you on all that. Plus, we launched a cool video the other day. So I did a video the other day at my local club water, catching skimmers. And we were using these pellets from Blake's Baits called Primer Tracks. They were just 4mm Primer Tracks. They were a feed pellet that if you soak them in the correct way, they just blow up like a little mini expander, but a bit firmer and a bit heavier. And I'm not kidding. They are awesome. And I know I said it in the video, they're awesome. They were fantastic on the day, caught loads of fish, and I used them, excuse me, I used them as hook bait yesterday. I went to Packington Summers filming yesterday, and I used them as hook bait for skimmers again there, and they were brilliant again. So Blake's actually rang me just to update me on the situation, because after putting that video live, they sold out. Now, whether that was down to me, who knows? But I can only assume it obviously had a helping hand in them selling out. So thanks everyone who went and bought some, because obviously it shows to these guys that this kind of thing works, and the power of YouTube. But ultimately, they're a great product. So I'm glad a few of you have gone out and bought them. So let me know if you have gone out and bought them. And they're going to be in stock again really soon. So that's good news. Like I said, the floats are back in stock. Those pellets are going to be back in stock. I think he said the 24th of October, something like that. But I will put a post on this YouTube channel to let you know when they're back in stock as soon as they tell me. Nearly 50 of you watching, only 9 likes. Give us a thumbs up. And get your questions in, get them in nice and early, so we've got plenty of time to answer them with a bit of detail. That'd be really, really cool. Just another thing, obviously, the mug. Can't do a live without the mug. Absolutely woeful football club at the minute. But as I got this last week, I was doing my live stream with my mug. I got a little suspect package the next day, and look what Steve Gregory from Miracle Bait sent me this. He's like, I can't watch you with that mug anymore. So he sent me one of these, which was quite nice. I'm probably still going to use this mug because I know it triggers a lot of you, and it's great for getting extra comments. But thanks, Steve, for the mug. Very good. Hello, everyone. I'm getting some comments coming in now, getting some questions. So get them in quick, because we want to have plenty of time to answer them. I've got a few jobs to do. Do you know what? I went filming yesterday. Like I said, to Packington Summers, and we get a freelance cameraman to come and film me. This is for the Nufish channel rather than the stuff on my own channel. So we get a cameraman to come out. And I actually got my stuff out yesterday, and I was a bit like, oh, it's really bad. Needs some work, my kit. My rigs are a bit on a poor state. My hooks are all right, but everything else is a bit of poor state, to be honest. And I've got a few matches coming up. I've been focusing so much on the river lately, trying to catch barbel, that I've just neglected all my match kit. So first job this weekend is going to be putting some fresh line on my reels. Now, I haven't actually changed the line on my reels since I had the prototype spools of this, and it's still on my reels, but I thought I need to actually update it. So I intend on going to Boddington a little bit over the next few weeks. And I'm going to use £5 and £6 with a shock leader. So that's going to be what I'm going to use. seems like a good option for distance fishing. Yesterday I was fishing, interestingly. It's about 50 odd meters to this, like the posts on Big Geary's Lake, something like that. I didn't measure it, but it was about 50 odd meters. And I was just using £6 straight through, and it made casting effortless. Has anyone used detection? Let me know if you've used detection line. I think it's phenomenal. I post about it quite tongue in cheek on the Facebook page about world champions using it. Wink, wink. But they do, and it's really good. And the only negatives we ever get about it are that it's only on 150 meter spools. So if the only negatives we get about it are that you want more of it, then we're doing something right. I can't fault it. I literally can't fault it. And I've been doing a little bit of waggler fishing, and I've been using the £3 on the river, and it's just beautiful. I just love it. So that's one of my jobs this week. I'm going to be doing that. I'm also going to be tying some rigs, and I've been doing done some like silverfish fishing this week. I fished for some skimmers yesterday at Packington. Did some silverfish fishing with Sam Collett the other day for the Nufish channel, which is a video that's live now. And we were both using these bulk floats, and I don't know if you've ever seen them. Just get that in the shot. They're just a brilliant all-round silverfish float. They're available in 0.4 to a gram. Just a perfect all-round silverfish float. Really good. They've got a 1.5 milli hollow tip, so you can see them. You can dot them down. They're just brilliant. And it's just I've got a few of them to tie up because I've got a few silverfish bits and bobs coming up. So got them to do. So that's my jobs for the weekend. Put some new line on my reels and get the bulks tied up. So a few questions coming in. Like I said, this week's fishing's been quite interesting. Monday, I went to the Glebe with Sam Collett, and it's a video. It's on the Nufish channel now. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out now. It's not had lots of views, actually, which is a shame because it's a nice video. It's all about silverfish fishing on commercials, which I know is really popular, especially as we go into towards like later autumn and winter. It's a brilliant way to fish, and it keeps the float going under. So that was a really good video. So check that out. So that was a really interesting day on Monday. Fantastic fishing. I didn't realise the Glebe had so many silvers in it, to be honest with you. Not smaller skimmers. I know it had bream in it, but I didn't realise it had so many roach and smaller skimmers in there. So some great matches, I think, to be had there this winter, and just some great fishing. If you're lucky enough to be a member of the Glebe, you've got some great silverfish fishing. I've been on the river. Tuesday, I went on the river. It's a bit up and coloured at the moment. I went on Wednesday night as well, so I've been doing quite a bit on the river this week. No success though. Caught some chub, but it's funny. The barbel fishing that I'm doing it's difficult fishing. It really is difficult fishing, but there are fish to catch, and I haven't quite got it right yet. And it's quite interesting because obviously I'm so used to match fishing, and I'm very comfortable with match fishing, that when I do something like this barbel fishing, I'm trying to get my head around. It's almost like starting all over again. It's like trying to learn how to ride a bike again. So it's really interesting. I can't get enough of it. Hard fishing. I've only caught one so far in 20 odd visits. That just shows you how hard it is. It's going to be an interesting battle. That is this autumn and winter. I can't wait to go again though. It's just really got under my skin, the barbel fishing at the moment, and it's good. It's enjoyable. What else have we been doing? Oh, and then yesterday I went to Packington, doing a video for the Nufish channel, and that was a really good day. Carp on the long pole, hard pellets, bomb and PVA with the old Medusa, the worm Medusa that you'll have seen on my channel. I used it, and it was brilliant again yesterday. I was joking on the film. I think I've chucked it out a dozen times now, and I've only not come back with a fish once, or hooked a fish once, and my 12 casts with it so far. So it definitely works. Right, let's get some questions answered then, because there's a few coming in now. And if you haven't already, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, because there's nearly 100 of you watching, and there's only 30 thumbs up. Thanks to everyone who's watched that video on the Primatrax pellets. That's one of the best ones I've had for a while. I want to keep my content totally free. I don't want to do a members channel or anything like that. I think it's I can't probably commit to doing it regularly enough to do that. So I want to do my content free. So obviously everyone who watches it really helps. Same with these, everyone who watches it helps. So watch the videos and we can keep doing them for free. Right, let's get on to the question. Sam Hanvey wants to know, what would be your go-to method, I assume, in autumn? Would you fish a feeder with a small wafter or maybe 4mm pellet? Good question, that is. It depends on the venue, doesn't it? If you're chucking a feeder, there's two schools of thought. I'd always start with a big bait, because oftentimes you catch a carp first chuck on these venues where you're doing that, you know, a bonus fish. So something visible, something like a decent sized wafter, 10mm or an 8mm or even a 6mm, something like that, nice and visible. I'd start on that and just see if I can nick an odd bonus fish on that. But then I'd probably switch if I'm allowed. Everyone probably knows that I love pepperami as a hook bait on the method. I'd punch a bit of that out, 6mm, and I'd use that personally. It's just a great hook bait. You can just pop it on a bayonet or you can quick stop it. It's up to you. But bayonet's fine. And the pepperami is my number one. But those little mini wafters, the little diddy ones you can get now, 4mm, and a few companies do them. Sonu do them, Feedland do them. I think I saw some ringers ones the other day. They can be good if you want to catch a few skimmers as well. Or an expander's a great hook bait. There's loads of hook baits, maggots, you name it. But I would always start big, try and get off to a good start in your match or session. If there's a carp there, you often catch it first chuck. So give yourself a chance and then bring things back, maybe put a smaller feeder on, smaller hook bait to match the conditions, and that can work really well. So Martin wants to know when I would consider stopping paste fishing. Well, I'll tell you what, there was a cracking frost. I live in Northampton, and there was a cracking frost there this morning. Like a proper one, like a scraper off the got to scrape it off the windscreen. Yeah, real cold conditions. That means that the fish were feeding yesterday, still on pellets, and it was good. It turned out it would be a really good video, that. So I think that there's still a place for paste fishing for sure. And I know people were commenting last week that paste is still working, or it's worked for them right through the winter. So just try it. Maybe just tone it back a bit. Steve Gregory actually messaged me and saying he sort of laughs at people who say it's not a winter bait, but he's like, if you put a tiny piece on pea paste, it works right the way through. So I think the days of the big paste, maybe in the margins and stuff, maybe coming to a bit of a close, but fishing it tiny bits, work all the way through. We put ground bait in at the end of the day. If you're fishing 12-foot deep for roach on the pole, what float and weight of float would you use, please, Joe? Is that a silfish, David? That's from David Hodgson. If it was a river or a still water, obviously it makes a big difference. Something like a gram. Don't be frightened of weight for roach. Sometimes bigger floats are better. There's a balance though. You can't just go right to like 3 grams, for example. But something like a gram would be a good starting point. I'd probably try and set up 3 rigs. I'd probably try and go like a light, a middle, and a heavy. So I'd probably try and set up something like a 0.6 one of them, a gram one of them, and then try and set up something at the other end of the scale, something like a 1.5 gram. And then it gives you 3 nice little presentations there. If the roach come off the bottom, which they often do at this time of year, the lighter float, you'll be able to catch them. Don't be frightened to put your bulk a bit further up. So if you're fishing the 4x16, for instance, try putting your bulk 5 foot up above your hook, and then having 4 or 5 droppers below that, and then that sort of gives you the stability of the heavy float, and then gives you how the hook bait will come in naturally. So you're getting like a positive rig with a bit of a slow fall, and your gram float would give you a bit of an in-betweeny, and then the gram and a half would give you something you could bomb down, and that would work really nice. Yeah, set up 2 or 3 rigs. It'll give you a few different options. 70 odd people watching, 43 likes. Give us a like and get your question in. We've got quite a bit of time yet to get going. So they look very good pellets. He was referring to the primary tracks. They were. I showed them to the cameraman yesterday, who was with me yesterday, and he was like, I need some of them. So they're really good. Can you run? Brian Norton wants to know, can you run through what hooks you use and when? Oh, and line. Well, line's very simple. Main line for my reels is detection. I love it. That's just not just me, Mr. Nufish talking. That is just brilliant line. But pole rig wise, I've been using all sorts. I've been testing some prototype material, wink wink, and I've also been using the Guru Supernatural, which is it's a nice line, that is, for rigs and stuff. It's cheap. You get a lot on the spool, quite stretchy. I quite like it. Not totally sold on it yet, but it's all right. It's not a bad line, that. Hook wise, I keep things really simple. For my paste, I use Guru pellet waggler hooks. I've shown you that loads of times. For my all-round pole fishing, I use B911s in Ide and Spade. For slightly bigger carp, I use Carass animal feeders. I think I might have shown you them before in a red packet. Great hooks. And then for my feeder fishing, for like method and stuff, I use Carass T360s, which is like a QM1 sort of shape, like a question marky hook, round hook. And that's about it, really. And I don't, to be honest, I don't do that much natural fishing anymore. So barb ducks aren't really a thing for me, other than me size 6s for me barbel fishing. Right. Can see you're a United fan. Do you think Ten Hag should stay or go? Do you know what? I'm so like deflated with the whole thing at the minute. I've never felt so unattached with it. Like, I don't know. I don't even feel like they're my team anymore. It's really weird. I don't feel like any players are playing for the club. I don't particularly like the manager. I don't like the way he comes across. We haven't got an identity how we play. Not that I don't think. I think that identity thing's a bit nonsense, is it? Like when we played under Fergie, we were just like smash teams, didn't we? Hit them on the break and stuff. But yeah, we're so easy to play against. We're wide open. When you take stills from the game, you can see gaps in our setup that the other teams are just playing through us like you wouldn't believe. We're just shit, is the truth. Where we are, we've got some good players, we've got some bang average players, and we've got some players that we think are good and they're not. And I just, I don't want to be that team that stacks the manager all the time, but there's nothing I like about him neither. So yeah, I think he should bugger off, to be honest with you. What's my go-to silverfish ground bait? Good question. Depends if I'm on commercials. If I'm on commercials, you can't really beat F1 Dark, to be honest with you. Sonia Bates F1 Dark, very nice ground bait. And I often put that bait booster in it as well to make it a bit stickier. That's a nice little trick, that is. I've shown you that quite a few times. If you use F1 Dark, it's quite a soft ground bait. But if you mix it with that bait booster, which is a sticky liquid, it gives you ground bait a nice bit of stickiness. Come on, guys, get the thumbs up coming in. Don't forget to like it, because then we can get more questions, and get your questions in. Get them in, because we want to be answering it. David Longley is worried about his paste falling off the hook. I used a soft pellet on the hook and covered the hook and pellet with paste. I'd still have a hook bait if the paste falls off. Good idea or bad? Don't be frightened your paste is going to fall off. What you got to remember is every time your paste comes off, you're feeding the swim. So it's not even if it comes off, it's not a bad thing. If you mix it with that wheat gluten, which I've shown you quite a lot of times now, your paste lasts a long time on the hook, a lot longer than you think. If you see my video last week about the margin paste fishing, someone actually said that's all right if you're using the stiff paste, but no good if you're using wet paste. Well, I use really wet paste. Like, you can't get it any wetter how I use it. But the gluten holds it on the hook. It holds it together. And that's the whole reason I do it. I can still use a wet paste that hangs onto the hook. So my advice would be, get some wheat gluten, get it in your ground bait, and use that as your paste. If not, use the miracle paste that Steve Gregory's miracle paste. Use that, or add wheat gluten to your preferred ground bait and make your own. And it stays on. It stays on better than you think. I would never wrap it around a pellet. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I've heard people wrapping it around corn and all sorts. It would work, but for my money, you're impeding the hook hole too much. You've got to strike through two things, and you're striking through the paste and the pellet. And I'd be worried about hook holes. And yeah, not for me. That the only time I would probably do wrapping it around something is if I was fishing a bomb and with paste wrapped around the hook bait, something what we used to use, call it the conker. You could wrap it around an 8mm pellet, for example, and that'd work. But I'm pretending to leave it out there a lot longer. So yeah, I'd probably do it that then, but not for me. I wouldn't wrap it around a pellet on the pole. Hall66 wants to know, what is the best shock leader knot that you use, Joe? Oh God, that is a question, because I've tried them all actually in recent years. I do quite a bit of lure fishing. I go bass fishing, and I go like lure fishing on the river and stuff. I do quite a lot of that in my downtime. So I've played with shock leaders a lot. Now for my feeder fishing, I've always just used a loop in the, let me just get this right, a loop in the braid, just a normal loop, figure of 8 loop, and then I've blood knotted my shock leader to it. It's an old school way. What Steve Ringer uses, I've always used it. It's been great. It's never let me down. It just looks a bit ugly, but it doesn't let you down. So that would be my go-to. But since doing my lure fishing, I've tried Albright knot. I've tried an FG knot, which I think is about the same thing as a Albright. And then recently I've been using, oh God, I forget what it's called now. An Alberta knot or something like that. It's called Alberto knot or something like that, where you have like a knot and then you pass the braid through it and whip it around that and pull it down. And that's a nice knot. And Albright knots are nice, very slim, tiny knot. If you're struggling with knots, just use the loop and the blood knot. But if you can tie an Albright knot, I think that's a better knot. It's much thinner. It's much more compact. It goes through the rings nice. So yeah, loop and a blood knot is good. But if I was to pick now, I'd probably go for an Albright knot. Overall, I found it better. Goes through the rod rings better, and it's strong. I know it's not a great time of year for. This is from David Coyle. I know it's not a great time of year for pellet waggler. Can you go through how you do your pellet waggler attachment? Cheers. Won't mention my as this new management team is making it worse. I don't know about the management team. I feel like they're going to get there. It's a lot in it. You can't expect anything to happen overnight, can you? The management, I'm not sure about the manager, but I think the new owners will be fine. But it doesn't happen overnight, does it? We've got a lot of crap to sort out. Go through the pellet. I need to do a video on the pellet waggler attachment because I haven't got the bits here. It's really simple. I just use them Drennan waggler weights. I don't know if you've seen them. If you pass your line through one of them, make a knot. I'll put one of those like a gripper stop on the top. Put your float adapter through. Obviously, let me get this right. So on my piece of line, I slide a float gripper stop on. Then I put one of them waggler weights on. Then I put my float adapter on. Then I put another waggler weight on. Then I tie a tiniest little loop in the end of the main line. So it's like this. I use that little Stomfo gadget, one of them, to tie a tiny little loop. I then put the 2 waggler weights and right down against that tiny little loop and pull the gripper stop down. So everything's bunched together on top of the little loop. And then I tie it off. And it's really compact and it works. So yeah, I will do a video showing you how to do that, but it's really simple. No United this week to put us in a bad mood. Yeah, I watched England there last night. They were even worse. Shocking. I'm a massive football fan, but I don't like watching England. I just hate international football. But yeah. But I did actually click on England last night, and it was just woeful, wasn't it? Get your questions in, everyone. Don't forget to give us a like. Like I say, we're trying to keep all of our content nice and free. So you don't want to be one of those membership channels. When you go to Boddington, will you be trying the Medusa? Great question. It depends whether they're in range or not. I kind of hadn't factored it in, but I think if I was to feed some 8mm pellets with a Boscher feeder, I might actually do that. I might put the Medusa on because I've got a lot of confidence in it. Like I say, every time I chuck it in, it goes round. So yeah, probably would try it. Definitely. I've got some rigs set up for it anyway. Changed all my reels to your line yesterday on my new Map Black Edition Pro. First class line. That's from Martin Farrow, just in case anyone's not seen. Detection. The #1 line, in my opinion. It's just awesome, isn't it? The funny thing about Detection, I remember joining Nufish, and Nufish already had this well underway. They've been testing it for ages, and I've been there for nearly 2 years now. So that just tells you how long they spent getting it right. And I walked in, and we had a chat about it, and the whole reason for this was to give anglers an alternative to braid, as in a low stretch option, but also for those like venues like Hallcroft, where they're fishing for silvers in the winter on the feeder, but they're not allowed braid. That's where all this was developed for. So it was originally designed as like a bit of a silverfish feeder fishing, like natural feeder fishing thing. But what's actually come of it is that it's just the most amazing fishing line for carp and like heavy duty feeder fishing. It's so durable and robust, abrasion resistant. It's just brilliant line. Will we do it on 300 meter spools? I don't know. I've asked Mick. I'm not so sure, but It's just brilliant line. How long a shock leader do you use and what breaking strain? I will use 10-pound detection as my shock leader, and I like to go up the rod and back down onto my reel for carp. That's what I just like to do. I like to make sure that all of my cast is on the shock leader, not on the knot, if that makes sense, when I'm whacking it out hard. When I'm fishing for silvers and stuff, I don't mind having a little diddy one, but for carp, I like to have it up my rod, back down, and then the knot be on my reel when I'm casting out. That's what I like. How many pellets you soak and hook the same pellet? No, not many pellets you soak and hook the same pellets. No, like I said on that video, actually, Michael, it's something that we did at Whiteacres years ago, that hooking the feed pellets, and it worked really well. But your batch of pellets had to be good. And I've not had pellets that have been able to do that for a long time. All my screttings recently have just broken down like a bit of a mush, or they either go to a mush or they go a bit like crumbly and dusty. And coppins, as you know, they just don't soak the same. So having them are brilliant, like really nice pellets. I'd love to see them in 6mm because I'd like to blow them up. I've got some of the 2.3 mil, and they're lovely for the hybrid as well. They don't bind too much, so you could get them on the hybrid, squish them on really hard, and they'd fluff up lovely. So yeah, I'm really impressed with them. The only thing is they're quite high oil pellets, so I'm not sure in the winter whether they're for feed going to be as good as a normal scretting, but time will tell on that one. Keep your questions coming in. We've still got quite a few. Just got back from Whiteacres Festival and did rubbish. Any advice not to bomb out? Do you know what, Tom? I've been keeping an eye on them results at this week, and it looks really difficult. I speak to Phil Cannon, who's been down there for 2 weeks, and he says the fishing's really hard. And I've seen really good anglers blowing out down there this week. I saw Callum Dick. I mean, I don't want to call him out, but I just, off the top of my head, I saw Callum had a really tough day the other day. Callum Dix, who England international standard angler, is catching 8 pounds. Like, so it's not just you, Tom. There's a lot of anglers struggling. It just seems ever so peggy this year down there. It's a shame, isn't it? Because I've got some really fond memories of Whiteacres, and I'm sure there's great times still had there. But yeah, it just looks, whether it's just a bit of a combination of factors. The weather's been weird, hasn't it, this week? I don't know if it's the distant effects of that hurricane or whatever in Florida, but we've had some right wild weather here. The river came up where I go fishing over 2 foot in a day or so the other day. It just came up out of nowhere. So yeah, we've got some weird weather, and I think that's affected the fishing quite a lot at Whiteacres. But yeah, real shame. I don't think whether you've done anything wrong, I don't know, because if anglers of the caliber of Callum are catching such low weights, then they will have tried every trick in the book to catch. So yeah, really difficult. I don't know if there's that many silvers there at the moment. So yeah, I don't really know. Just hopefully go dust yourself off, go again. Maybe even go to Whiteacres again. Spring's a better time of year for Whiteacres. I always think the fishing's, they've not had a year's worth of holiday goers, have they? I know you want to be there for the Part D Masters and all that, but yeah, maybe give spring a go. Alternatively, try different venues, because there's loads of festivals and holiday venues now. Western Pools, for example, Westwood, places like that off the top of my head, Docklow even. Lots of options. Right, just got it. The players are not performing good enough. No, they're not, Michael. They're not. Like, Bruno looks awful. I mean, Bruno looked bad last year, and then he picked up, didn't he, the second half of the season, but he can't even pass the ball at the minute. Frustrating. Yeah. We just don't create any chances, do we? And then we're just really easy to play against. What's the best 4mm to soak for the Method hybrid feeder? This is from Paul Dudley. It's a great question, that is, because I've experimented with that quite a lot. Now, Stu Fotheringham, shout out to Stu, who popularised that and really, did well with it. And he always uses Coppens. And Adam Richards, who's one of my great friends, he does really well on that 4mm, and he swears by Coppens. Now, they take a bit of prep. I seem to remember how Adam does it, is cover them in boiling water for 2 minutes, I think, drain them off, leave them, put them in the fridge in like a Tupperware or whatever, and then the day of the match, you need to leave them overnight, and then the day of the match, get like a wet hand and like revive them with water, and they go sticky again. I've tried that and it works really well, and I've even done it with 6mm Coppens and it's worked. So that would be my advice: get some Coppen pellets and cover them in boiling water for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. You do need to experiment with them. Stick them in Tupperware overnight once they're drained, and then just revive them with your fingers with some wet water the next day. So that would be my advice. You want coppins for that. If you do struggle, I know there's a few companies, Sonu do like 4 mil sticky method pellets. They're not, you do need to soak them, but they're easy to do. So if you do struggle getting the coppins right, give them a go. You had a recent birthday, Joe. Just seen the balloon at the back. That's actually from Father's Day. World's best dad. That's my big trophy, that is. Yeah, world's best dad, apparently. So nice, isn't it? That's the longest. That's stayed up for ages, that. My little Manu doll that she got me last week as well. Look. Got the old Aeon shirt on. Right. Fluorocarbon. What's your thoughts? Fluorocarbon's an interesting one. For my river fishing, for my chub and barbling, I'm using fluorocarbon all the time. I really like it. Robust, very, very strong. I use it as a main line as well because I'm using 15-pound line, so I'm using 50-pound fluorocarbon on the reel. I like it. As far as commercials go, I'm not totally sold on commercials because I just don't know if we're getting the benefits of fluorocarbon in commercials. The only time I would consider it is maybe using them for like short, stiff bomb hook lengths, perhaps. But I'm not convinced it makes that much of a difference as hook lengths. On canals and rivers, though, I'd definitely consider using fluorocarbon hook lengths. Definitely. It's strong, and it's obviously invisible underwater. But what I like about it is when you're shipping in and out a lot, you don't get that twist that you sometimes get. So if you're fishing for lots of fish, fluorocarbon can be good. But that would be my, not totally sold on it for commercials, though. David Bailey wants to know, do you think that the Sonia Bates pellet oil would work if put on braid? Would help it sink better? Oh, God. No, you mean the sinking pellet oil? I don't know. I don't think I'd like to do that. That's not what I won't bother with that. I think the problem with braid, sinking braid, it's not a problem with the material. It's the braid doesn't sink on high pressure days. So if you get those beautiful blues, a bit like today, if you went braid fishing today, it's not a cloud in the sky, high pressure. Let me check the air pressure. You wouldn't sink whether you put lead on it. It just doesn't. It won't sink. It's just the air pressure that keeps it up. Let's check the air pressure and just see. But on a low pressure day, it sinks like a stone. So yeah, it's over 1,000 again. It's been really low, hasn't it? I've got 970. It was the other day. I went to the river like this, thinking I was going to catch a massive barbel, but didn't. So it's not necessarily the braid that's the problem. It's more the air pressure, and there's not a lot you can do about it. I've covered a lot of feeder matches in my time, and obviously every angler's got a different braid on, and on those days, their braids are all floating. It doesn't matter what braid it is, the sinking stuff, the floating, whatever. It doesn't matter if it's 50 quid a spool or 20 quid a spool. It's all floating. It's not the braid. It's the conditions. I mean, give it a go by all means, but I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend putting pellet oil on your braid. You don't know what it's going to do to it, do you? It might rot the braid. Who knows? John Smith, great name. I like John Smith's. Fish last weekend, fed the margin for last 2 hours fishing, 18 inches deep. Can't move in, could not get a bite on corn. Carp only stopped about 5 to 10 minutes. What did I do wrong? I think that's too shallow. I think 18 inches is too shallow this time of year. The fish are on the back foot now. They're starting to get into their wintry mode. It's not deep enough. 3 foot, I wouldn't even consider going in less than 3 foot now. You want to be away from they'll come into 3 foot and 4 foot, but they won't come right up into the shallow water. So yeah, that would be my advice. Go a little bit deeper, push away from the bank a bit, 3 foot, really good. 100 of you watching, 65 likes. Give me some more likes. Stop being stingy on the likes front. Just let us know, get some more questions in, because I'll give you another 15 minutes yet. Have you liked the latest videos that we've been doing? We've got some great stuff on the Nufish channel. Got some hopefully great stuff on my channel at the moment. It's been really busy just lately. It's been good. It's been good and getting some good feedback, so it's nice. Hi, Paul says, Joe, I have trouble when trying to change hook clamps, trying to get the loops apart. Any advice? Thanks. Cheers, Lee. You just take your like off and put another like on. No, it's worked anyway. We've got a load more likes. Yeah, it's annoying that, and I must admit, when you sometimes put like trying to get a band through a closed up loop, it can be a bit of a nightmare. Have I got any tips for that? I'll tell you what's a good tip. If you get something like that in your box, put that in your loop and it'll open it up. It's just a bit of a faff, innit? A baiting needle can work, like a quick stop needle. Get that in there. That'll help you open it up. Alternatively, do what Mick does. Mick uses purposely a little bit longer loops because they open up much better, and he believes they lay flatter on the bottom as well. So if you are struggling, if I had this spell of using like a super glue pellet a few years ago on a certain venue where it was like a fish race, and that was a nightmare. If you used a loop that big, for example, or like, you know, one of them sizes of loops, you couldn't get the super glue pellet through the loop. It just wouldn't go through. So I started tying my own loops at like 20 mil, 25 mil, and that allowed me to get the pellet through and everything. It just opened up easier than those smaller loops. So just something to consider. Slightly bigger loop. Well, I'll get to the end of the questions now. Get some more questions in, everyone. And just while I wait, just a quick one. I'll tell you what's back in stock while I think on. These beauties. The old kit marker. What a product that's been for us. We've sold loads of them. They've been really good. I forget how good they are. You know, like yesterday, I was just marking my depth. Wipe it straight off. Brilliant. Brilliant bit of kit. They're back in stock. The floats are back in stock. Like I said, I got asked the other day, even though I did a video the other day telling everyone they were back in stock. People were asking when the JC margin paste were coming back in stock. They're in stock now. The shops have got them. Bennett Sports have got millions of them. JC paste, millions of them. So yeah, all of our stockists who ordered them have obviously got them now. So right, I am looking for a new 10-foot feeder rod to get. What would you recommend? Oh, Chris, that's a question. What's your budget? Let me know your budget first, and I'll come back to it. Yeah, because I could tell you like a Preston Tyson type rod, and you might be looking for something 200 quid. So just quickly let me know what your budget is. Have you tried a big flat bed feeder for the chub? Great on the Thames. One cast and the swim is being fed, and you are fishing. Hello, Neil. Nice to speak to you. Someone just walked past my door. That's all right. Just posting a leaflet. I just saw it in the reflection on the thing. Have I tried? No, I haven't, Neil. I haven't. I'm really happy with how I'm fishing for the chub. I just fish tiny little PVA bag, and then I loose feed single pellets, single boilies over the top. That just works really well. Wherever I go, I just seem to catch them. So yeah, I'm pretty much sticking with that. I'm an out-and-out boilie angler now for the chub, so it's yeah. I don't really need a feeder, to be honest. I'm sure it'd work great though. Just quickly, you said revive pellets with wet water. Can you get any other? Sorry, I meant a wet hand. Get a wet hand and like rub it through the pellets. I don't mean like pour the water on them. I mean just get your hand in, a wet hand. Sorry, it's quite hard chatting on camera. Do I ever use paste in winter? I get the question so often, don't I? I've already had it twice, I think. Yeah, pea paste is great in winter. And I use cheese paste all the time in winter. And I use like balls of paste on the river and stuff. So yeah, it works, doesn't it? I need to do some videos, don't I, on paste this winter, because it's obviously something that you're all interested in. So as soon as it gets proper cold, we'll get on it. We'll get on the paste in the winter. Tuned in from Thailand. Tried your paste, just a bit stiffer. Works great. What, you used it in Thailand? That's brilliant. A basic mix and added paprika, all on natural ponds. That's brilliant in Thailand. Brilliant. I got one of my wife's relatives is over there at the minute. I'll tell him to get on there. He's been catching Mekong. I don't think he's been catching them on the wheat gluten though. But obviously, all that wheat gluten paste thing comes from Asia and China and stuff, where they're fishing for like that species. I think they call them hera, and they're like an F1, and it all comes from that. They're way ahead of us when it comes to paste fishing, and it's actually watching them anglers on YouTube that's given me the idea to do what I'm doing. So it's all from that part of the world, really. So yeah, there's no reason why paste wouldn't work. Full of carp and stuff. Preston knot picker for your mainline loops is awesome. Yeah, that's a good shout. A knot picker would be a good one for your loops. Budget is around £150 to £200 for a 10-foot rod. Right. I'll tell you what I like, them 10-foot Spectrons. They were nice. And I think you'd probably get one of them for a bit less. I think that would probably hit that mark quite nicely. 10-foot Superior X, nice rod. There's loads out there, isn't there? But yeah, just pick one from a reputable brand. Yeah, Dial Spectron or a Superior X would probably be my two options for that kind of money. Right, I'm about the end of the questions now, so I'll give you just a few minutes while I waffle on a little bit to get some more questions in. And don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. Like I said, I'm trying to keep this channel totally free. And if you haven't seen the nufish content, we've just put a new video live this week at the Glebe silverfish fishing, and it's not actually had that many views. So check that out if you would. That'd be really helpful, because it's a good video. It's nice. It's one of them. Rather than being choppy with me editing, I just let Sam talk and fish. I just let him go. I didn't like try and cut it down into a shorter video or anything. I just let it run, and I thought it worked quite nicely. Right, what's going on here? Is anyone getting played with like spam on Facebook at the minute, by the way? Who's this then? Don't know. Yeah, so I've got a few more minutes left. I'll give it another 4 minutes. Why do most manufacturers make 2-piece silverfish waggler rods? Do you want the truth? The truth is they just don't sell. Anything silverfish based, sadly, is a very, very small market, unfortunately. I think guys who do silverfish fishing on natural venues tend to keep their kit a lot longer. They're probably using, like I do, Normat rods and stuff like that. Probably not. I always remember when I was at Preston, anything aimed at that kind of fishing is just way down numbers wise to everything else carp related. So that's the honest truth. That being said, I know Preston do that 12-foot waggler rod, which is more aimed at natural fishing. So yeah, but yeah, that's the sad part. I think Cadence do some rods though that are like 2-piece that are a bit lighter, so it might be worth checking. When you're going to have a look at the nufish video, prefer silvers to catfishing. Cheers, Lee. That's a nice way to spend your lunch hour. It's just a nice video, nice easy watching. Melvin says he's just checked out the nufish video. He liked it. Said Sam came across very well. He's such a good angler, Sam. It impresses me every time I go out with him. He's really good, very detailed, very thorough in how he like plums up and but keeps things simple at the same time. Really good. Yeah, great angler. He's great ambassador for nufish. Sam is. I like him a lot. Got a lot of time for him. Right, I'm going to leave it at that then, everyone. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you again. Oh, just before I go, would it be of interest if I did these in the evening? Maybe get a beer, maybe, just have a nice little casual chat. I'd love to see. Let us know in the comment quickly. I've got to stay on for another minute. Would you like me to do these in the evening? I'd have to be a bit quieter because my kids would be asleep, but it'd just be something I'd be interested in doing. Maybe have a proper chat, maybe get a can of beer, and that'd be nice, wouldn't it? So let us know in the comments. Yeah, evening. Yeah, you'd like that, would you? Nice little laid back hour in an evening would be quite nice, I think, when I'm not barbel fishing, because I've been out a lot the last week. Oh, a few more questions have just popped in. Looking for new waterproof clothing. I like the look of the nufish. Where is best to get hold of them? Right, Matt. As you can see, I have got a set of Gore-Tex there. Look, just down here, new bib and brace. Can't wait to get that on. Best place to get it, you can either go to Hulk and Hunt direct, either contact them on their website, or you can email them, or obviously just call them up. I think they've got it for sale on their website. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure they've got it for sale now on their website, our branded stuff, but I could be wrong. Alternatively, you can get it from Wickersley Angling. Have they got it on for sale on here? I don't remember now. Yeah, they have actually got the new fish stuff for sale on the Hulk and Hunt website. Alternatively, you can get it from Wickersley. Wickersley holds stock of our clothing, so you can just go in and get it off the peg. Hulk and Hunt is normally a bit of a wait. That being said, they might keep stock of new fish stuff now. But yeah, either go Hulk and Hunt direct. It's on their website. You can go on there, hulkandhunt.com, and you can get the clothing direct from them, or you can go to Wickersley Angling and buy it there. They've, like I say, hold stock of our clothing. They're the only two places you can get it, though. Let's have a look. Anyway, what's your go-to roach ground bait? Thanks. I'd just use Sonia Baits deep water, and then I'd use black roach. That would be what I'd use. Just a 50-50 mix of those. That'd be great. Evenings would be good, but got the monster to sort out. Yeah. It would have to be mine. The only thing with doing the evening thing, it'd be hard to plan in because some nights I get my kids to bed a dream, and then other nights I don't. So there tends to be when I'm heading, because what I tend to do, I get the kids to bed and then I bugger off fishing for a few hours down the river. But yeah, I'd happily do a few evenings. I think it'd be quite nice. Probably a bit more. I'd probably get bigger numbers, to be fair, if I did it in the evening. Right. Thanks everyone. I'm going to go get some another cup of tea actually, and then get some more work done. So thanks everyone for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you again next time we're live. So thanks everyone for watching.